You know how I say there's a culture war against the Second Amendment? Well, it's still going on.
Judge ruling a Tops mass shooting lawsuit against several social media platforms can now move forward.
The civil suit was filed by the 10 families who lost loved ones in that racially motivated attack back in May of 2022. The lawsuit claiming hateful and extremist content online contributed to the radicalizing the gunmen. Attorneys for the social media companies wanted the case dismissed, arguing they only provide a platform for third-party content and should not be held liable.
The lawsuit that we filed is the first of its kind in the nation to hold social media platforms for a mass shooting.
This father-daughter legal team is fighting for justice for some of the families of the May 14th, 2022 mass shooting at the Tops on Jefferson Avenue in Buffalo. On Monday, they learned a state Supreme Court justice denied several social media giants' requests to dismiss the lawsuit against them. These social media companies include YouTube, Reddit, and Discord.
We had a very unique lawsuit where we did not sue the social media platforms based upon the speech that was said, but we sued them on manufacturing design or product design, that they're a dangerous product.
It's not only the content that they, quote unquote, users put out there, but the actual product design that encourages these doctrines and ideologies to flourish.
So the thing you have to understand about the anti-gun lobby is that these people aren't stupid, and they have a lot of money and resources, and they don't just try to attack the Second Amendment from one angle. No, they swarm it from every side you can possibly think of, whether it's culturally, legally, politically, emotionally, and financially. In this case, they're using all five in a rather scary but clever way. The real people bringing this case is the anti-gun lobby. They're just using the victims of the Buffalo shooting as a proxy in their war against the Second Amendment. To be more specific, the part of the anti-gun lobby bringing this lawsuit is the Giffords Law Center, which is the legal arm of what they call the gun violence prevention group, Giffords. Giffords is an anti-gun group. They've always been an anti-gun group. And so for them to be bringing this lawsuit tells me everything I need to know. What they're trying to do is get firearm content removed from social media. They're trying to do this by making firearm content on social media too much of a liability to allow anymore. You do this by filing ludicrous lawsuits like the one that forces social media sites to spend a ton of money fighting these types of cases to the point where it's just too expensive to deal with the hassle of having firearm content on their platform. Social media sites barely tolerate the gun community as is, where sites like TikTok have essentially already banned firearm content on their platform. So it's not like this can't or hasn't already happened. Gun manufacturers can't advertise anywhere except for magazines, and people ain't really reading magazines like that anymore. At least I can advertise my favorite in-ear wireless Bluetooth hearing protection from AKT1 called the Blackouts, which have a certified NRR rating of 25 dB, a 6-time hearing enhancement, active noise blocking and cancellation, high fidelity speakers to listen to music and take phone calls, all while protecting your hearing while you're on the range, your job, working out, and just living life. I'll put a link in the description section of this video for you to check them out, which I wouldn't be able to do if these were guns, because you can't do that on social media like YouTube. But if you wanted to learn more about a firearm that you've already bought or a gun you plan to buy, you can go on sites like YouTube and to a smaller degree Instagram to learn about those things. If the anti-gun lobby can make allowing firearm content on social media platforms too much of a liability, they'll be able to essentially destroy gun companies and the larger part of the gun culture as a whole, because whether we like it or not, platforms like Instagram and YouTube are where the life of the current gun culture is currently living. The anti-gun lobby is getting more clever in their approach to destroy the gun industry and the Second Amendment as a whole with this lawsuit. In the past, they tried to sue gun companies anytime someone used their gun in a crime. It got so bad the federal government had to step in and create a law called the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act to protect the gun manufacturers from these frivolous lawsuits. I did a whole video on it 3 years ago where I said this. Congress passed this law because anti-gun groups like the Brady campaign were constantly bringing frivolous lawsuits against gun companies that would eventually make fighting them so expensive they wouldn't be able to do business anymore. In fact, having this law to protect the gun industry was so important, even the Department of Defense said that it strongly supported the law because it would help safeguard our national security by limiting unnecessary lawsuits against an industry that plays a critical role in meeting the procurement needs of our men and women in uniform. I want you to think about that for a second. Even the Department of Defense was like, nah, y'all need to pass this law or there won't be any gun companies left to make the guns we need to protect this country. So you see how this lawsuit seems different because it's going after social media platforms and not gun companies on its face, but in reality, the tactics and the goal is pretty much the same? Stop thinking these people are stupid. They're not. They're very clever and they have all the backing from anti-gun billionaires that they could ever need and want. So tell me what you think. Do you think social media platforms should be held accountable civilly for the content on their platform? Or are you like me and see this as yet another way the anti-gun lobby is trying to destroy the Second Amendment from a different angle? Leave a comment in the comment section after you hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell symbol and then type the all button. And like I said before, share this video with all the people you think need to hear it.